Welcome to the Voncast show. Today, special guest, Hersoul. How's it going today?
Hello, Von. Everything is good today.
Good. Glad to hear. With a new project on the way, this will come out January 29th?
Yes, right? Yeah, we have a project coming out January 29th.
What's it called?
The project is called The Girl Next Door.
All right.
It's an EP. It has 8 tracks on there. There's 5 songs, and then we have 3 interludes.
Oh, okay.
To kind of give people more insight into what the project is about.
Right. And here we have the awesome cover art. I'll take a picture of it later, but looks great. Who's it done by?
So my homegirl Alexa Gotti hooked me up with the cover art. She did the cover art for Glue as well.
Wow.
And she literally hooked us up within almost a month.
Wow, looks great. I'll take a picture of this later. I'll post it up. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's start from the beginning. Give us a brief description, who you are, what you do.
So my name is Miriam. Some people know me by Hersoul. Pretty much what I do is I like to write music. I like to rap, perform, and I'm also a college counselor for a middle school.
That's great.
So I do a lot of different things.
That's a fun middle school. I went. How's Miss Green? You doing good?
Yes, they're doing really good.
I like them a lot.
Yeah, I actually got to link up with Miss Dr. Gray on getting a 5-year program to the school. So they take 8th graders and they groom them for college throughout their whole high school year.
When I went there to talk, I had a great experience. It was so cool. They were in a card after. I was like low-key crying. I was like, oh my gosh, it's so cool. It was just seeing, the youth be so interested in college.
Yeah.
And, people, so many were artistic and doing want to do creative stuff, and that's really cool. So it's awesome. All right. So where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
So I'm originally from Richmond, California.
Okay.
It's in the Bay Area. I grew up Richmond, and then I moved to Vallejo.
Right.
Which is still in the Bay Area, and then back to Richmond, and then Oakland from 8th grade up until senior year.
Rest in peace, Mac Dre.
Ah, yes, rest in peace, Mac Dre.
I will say I used to live in the Bay Area too. I lived in the Peninsula, or East Bay, Peninsula. Lived in Napa, so I was right next to Vallejo, and I lived in East Bay. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up in those places?
Honestly, it was really fun for me. Just being a kid, we had a lot of cousins.
Right.
This was during the time when kids used to go outside a lot.
Before social media.
Back when we had the not even the cordless phones, we had the phones with the cords on them.
Right.
So we would just play outside all the time. I had a dozen cousins that I lived with. I used to live with my grandma, basically my grandma and then my dad and then on and off. So it was us being outside playing teen tag.
Right. Being
outside all day, just running wild, pretty much.
Right. That's so fun. I can recall that before the takeover of MySpace and all these social media platforms. At the time there was instant messenger, but going out playing tag, like you said, riding bikes, you would know people are at someone's house because their bikes are outside.
Yes.
It's being more, a kid, I guess.
Yes.
That term is so contextual because being a kid now is different from being a kid then. So maybe being a kid when we were kids in the 90s stuff, there was afternoon cartoons and Saturday morning.
Yeah, you come home and you take off your school clothes and you put on your play clothes.
Right.
And you go knock on somebody's door and ask their parents, can they come outside and play?
Yeah, that was good. That was a good time in our lives. Were you always good at school? Were you always a school person or not so much?
I think I was. Yeah. I always wanted to do really well in school just because I think I wanted to please the adults in my life or the older people.
Yeah.
Was I the smartest, whatever that means? Like I said, I just tried my hardest. I had a really weird just experience with growing up because I did live with my grandma soon after I was birthed. I lived with my grandma for some time. And then I moved back with my dad when we were younger, and it was just kind of back and forth. So it kind of interfered with me doing my best in school. But I was, like I said, I was always the kid that wanted to do their best, and so teachers always were like responsive to that, and luckily I was able to get like, the extra help that I needed.
Yeah, that's good. Did you have any aspirations of what you wanted to be when you were that age? People always say astronaut or president or like a movie star.
I think I wanted to be a veterinarian.
That's cool.
I wanted to be a veterinarian. I loved animals.
Mm-hmm.
My grandma had like hella dogs.
Mm-hmm.
We used to have them in the backyard, and then we would have like the special ones stay in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like was attached to dogs and animals and stuff. And then just when you want to be a veterinarian, you want to be a teacher and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't really think that I wanted to do art.
Really?
No.
Were you ever into like visual art or poetry when you were younger?
Honestly, I was interested in like music, like listening to music. I really loved like just doing art things, but I never like associated it with, oh, you're doing art things. Like I said, we were kind of like raised in different homes and stuff. So when we would go outside, you're just doing like natural things that come like natural to you. Writing on the concrete with chalk.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Spray painting shoes, like trying to redesign shoes,
that's so
but
fun.
Not necessarily being like, oh, we're redesigning shoes. You're just like, just putting something together. So I was involved in a lot of art in that way.
Right.
And then when I went to high school, that's when it became a little bit more serious, where like, we'd be in class and people would be debating about like music, and we would have art classes and just kind of like delved into art more then.
Right. What were the debates of music back then?
For me, bro, like they were talking about Lil Wayne. They were talking about obviously like Jay-Z. I was always like a Kendrick and J. Cole fan back in like high school. And that's back when J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar were just kind of like coming up or like bubbling. And so I used to kind of be like, oh my gosh, like J. Cole's lyrics are so good. And then people would be like, oh, this nigga's trash, basically, like Kendrick's trash.
Really? Was this Cold World? Was
This is Cold World, No Blanket.
Okay. This was 2010, 2009.
Yeah, 2009, 2010.
What was your response for Drake at the time? Because it wasn't too well received at the beginning, sort of maybe. Well, he was singing and rapping.
Yeah.
Well, no, let me take it back. Everyone liked it. It's when he started singing a lot and people didn't.
People used to be like, that nigga's gay type
Really?
stuff. But they loved his music, you
Yeah.
know. We used to go around singing Marvin's Room, you know.
Yeah.
I like Drake from Degrassi too, so.
Aubrey Graham.
Yeah.
I never got. I got into Degrassi, but I don't know if it was around his season. But I couldn't put the two and two together if I would have.
Yeah, definitely couldn't.
That was interesting.
Definitely thought it was weird.
So around that time, it was Kendrick was bubbling, and so was J. Cole. What made you like? Well, let me take it back. What were the songs that were like really popular at that time, and maybe how did that make you decide, hey, I want to go from just being a fan and just observing music and listening to I actually want to write music?
Lauryn Hill, I think.
Yeah.
Erykah Badu. I think those were like the times when, like when I started really feeling like, oh, I want to get into music. It was those two artists, and then it was artists like around like my local neighborhood, like people that I was growing up around. Like
cool.
Some folks named Cali Mae, they still make music. They call themselves the Shanko Mob. So there was like those guys, and then my homeboy David. He used to come to school with his guitar and like write poetry and like sing to this girl that he used to, like. So people would have like the freestyle battles and stuff.
Those were fun.
Yeah, those were fun. So it kind of happened then, like seeing other people who were my age and people who looked like me, women or whatever, just go into it. That just kind of inspired me.
Right. Was it always the stage name Hersoul for you, or did you have different ones?
Honestly, no. When I came to CSUN, that's when I really was like, okay. Like I had we used to go to the poetry lounge.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Or Expressions, actually.
Game room, right?
Yeah, Expressions.
Yes.
And so that's when I saw like other people my age who were really raw at rap, like poetry. And my roommate now, John, he actually probably like was the biggest influencer, like helping me to actually get on stage and stuff, because he wrote this 2-part like rap thing to Drake's and Rihanna's "Take Care." And he wrote a part for the girl, and then he wrote like a part for the boy. And he was like, "Oh, you should rap this girl part for me." And so we like would practice it a lot. And so seeing him, like, I always felt like, damn, this dude is raw as fucking rap. Like,
so cool.
Lyrics are raw, everything. So he kind of helped me to realize that I had like a voice in rapping. So yeah.
That's so cool that you can look up to, you know, local artists and people you know, as opposed to just always, you know, someone all the way up there. That way you're more relatable. You can get some like one-on-one help and everything. For those who haven't listened to your music yet, how would you describe Hersoul's music or sound?
Damn, this makes me. I feel like I should have tackled that question beforehand.
No.
My music is sweet. It's reality.
Right.
You know, I talk about things that I generally go through on a day-to-day basis. I talk about family a lot. The reason why I can't give you even one word is just because, you know.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's a very general question. I mean, you can definitely go into depth.
Yeah.
I mean, were you always rapping about that when you first started?
I think I was rapping about like black issues when I first started, or just being like feeling suffocated by the system.
Right.
And from there, kind of just has been evolving. Like, I think one of the latest topics that I've been really tackling has been kind of hard for me is just like love, and getting like specific with it, like talking about how I've been hurt or like who I'm interested in.
That's tough.
You know.
You know, I mean, sure, it sounds good, right? I mean, you produce great music and people resonate with it, but sometimes it's so painful to write about. It's like, man, like, sure, I put out good music or content, but what, like, I don't know, what causes it, you know, what did I have to pay for that? You know, sometimes you bring up old memories, you're like old things, and damn, that was really hurtful. Then you write it down, and it sounds good and everything, but when you hear it again, the music, oh man, you know.
Yeah.
So it's tough. It's hard to be vulnerable. Right?
It is.
Yeah, especially in rap.
That's what my music is.
Yeah,
vulnerable.
And it's hard, right? Because I'd say like a lot of rap is just more. It isn't. I mean, I think now we're talking more about feelings in general. Because back then, like, emo rap wasn't cool, but now, okay, it's cool. Like, Drake kind of made it cool. Artists like him made it cool. So I understand like the whole vulnerability thing. Yeah. You know, what's your writing process? Do you write, or do you kind of go off the top, kind of both?
I do a mixture of both. When I first started, it would be, you know, trying to write on the topic, and that kind of worked out for a little bit. I don't doubt that it won't work out in the future or whatever. But just writing on a topic, and then it kind of evolved to me, like, you know, freestyling a little bit, and then, you know, coming up with maybe one or two lines that I thought were like really hidden, and then kind of shaping the rest of the verse and stuff like from there. And now it's you know, sometimes like I write in my notebook. I like to write in my notebook, and I like to just be able to like cross out stuff, and it looks really ugly on a page. You're like, what the hell is this? Like, you know, there's lyrics here and then lyrics there. And, but, you know, sometimes I even like will, you know, take the whole Migos technique and just like record myself rapping and like freestyling. And then once those stream of thoughts are going or whatever, you know, maybe some clear ass words have come through, and maybe they haven't, but maybe there, maybe not there, and you just kind of like edit from there.
I didn't know that's how they did it.
I'm pretty sure they go in there and they like mumble some stuff or rap some stuff, and I don't know if they end up writing and re-editing, but I think they probably do a little bit of that. I
heard that's how maybe the mixtape Weezy did it, where he just like freestyled everything, and he kept what he liked, and he took out what he didn't like. That's how you got all that stuff. Yeah. I gotta try that. It's interesting. Yeah. So do you write with a beat, or do you kind of just have a thought and kind of go from there?
I usually write from a beat. I know how to write like apart from the beat, but then I think that's even a whole technique in itself, because you're writing like with no beat in mind, and then maybe like later on you know, or when you're writing, you're like writing it structured, and then
Right.
when you know, finally find a beat, like maybe you have to put those words to fit on that beat, but I go from a beat usually.
How do you deal with with a writer's block? Like, everyone has different ways of doing it. I find myself sometimes, frustrated. How do you, let's say you can't write, what do you do?
I usually get mad as fuck.
Me too.
I get mad. Yeah. I get since music wasn't something that I thought I could do at first. Like I started this in 2011.
Wow.
And so for me it was like I never wanted to seem like I was this false person that was just jumping into rap or whatever. Just because music is the reason why I got into music was because it taught me so much.
Right.
And I felt like I have a voice, or I want to have a voice. I want to be able to, speak my truth, and hopefully it affects somebody. But so that having that mindset or whatever, and not really like readjusting that mindset. Sometimes when I'm not, when I do have that writer's block, I just kind of used to question myself. I'm trying not to do that anymore. But,
yeah. Same.
Like, are you a real artist? Like, if
right.
you can't get this bar down, like, how the fuck are you even like a real rapper, a real lyricist, So.
I get that. No, I'm glad you said that, because I feel that way sometimes, like, you can, I don't know, I guess there's this false sense of idea that maybe like artists just get it all in one take.
Yeah.
But it's a process, kind of like in life, right? You can't just take it all down in one verse or one take. Sometimes it's layers, you have good days and bad days. It's about, I think, consistency, right? Yeah. So that's good.
Yeah. Stepping away from it maybe a little bit.
Yeah. And sometimes I feel bad stepping away from it. Like, well, are you giving up? Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like, are you really giving up? It's like, no.
Sometimes,
no.
man, those times where you're like, well, I know you probably already know, but when you're really working on something, whether it's a song or homework and a homework assignment, when you're stressing the fuck about it and you're crying about it, and you finally allow yourself to allow some space in between then, and maybe you come back to it within the next hour or next day or so. I feel like most times for me it seems like it makes for like some of the best vulnerable music,
right,
and really hidden type music. So
right. So this is your sophomore album, the one that's coming out, Girl Next Door. The first one was Her Story, right?
The first one is called HerTape.
HerTape, right. It wasn't Her Story?
No.
Oh, my bad.
No, there's called HerTape.
Yeah.
My name is Hersoul, and there was a song on there called Her Song.
Okay. What? So you went from HerTape and now it's Girl Next Door. What? How do you describe that? Like, if you can compare the two, how could you describe them? Like, how could you compare those two?
HerTape was for me. HerTape was me showing me that I was a creative. It was showing me that I can write on these different topics. It was me kind of like reintroducing myself to me, reintroducing like the new Miriam, or this creative Miriam to myself. It was healing for me.
Right.
I would say that the Girl Next Door is, simply put, me not even inviting people in first. It's first and foremost me coming out of my comfort zone. It's me walking out of that door, and it's also inviting other people in.
I like that.
So, like I said, the first HerTape is about me showcasing myself to me.
Right. And
now that I know what I can do, it's me stepping outside of that door, outside of that comfort zone. Because when you're in your house, like how literally how this is, when you're in the comforts of your home,
right,
or whatever, that whoever you are is really showing through.
Right.
You do all the craziest stuff inside of your house, all of the most vulnerable things in your house. But when you step outside of those doors, it's like, you become the neighbor that nobody really knows. You say hi to each other, walk outside. But like I said, inviting myself out and inviting people in, that's what the Girl Next Door is about.
I find it interesting that sometimes the hardest critic we have is ourselves. I really think that first album is always like, maybe not the hardest to write, but sometimes it's very challenging. Because, people, it's interesting. A lot of people think that like artists, oh, you're really good. But then it's like your head, it's all in your head, like, oh, what if it's not good enough? And whatever. So that's really cool that you're able to go from there to be more like less inclusive, just be more open out there.
Bro, yeah.
That's really tough. How do you come up with like writing concepts or just albums? Because it's easy to just do singles, right? But then how do you come up with a concept? Do you have a kind of a way that you did that?
Yeah, I think they've been coming naturally to me. So the first project was called HerTape. The second one is called The Girl Next Door, and then there's actually another album that I've been making in the process of. Actually had this project like hella long ago. There was actually like 10 songs. Only two of them made it on this project. I'm probably gonna release the other ones, whatever. But there was this project called Crash Get Out of the Way, and I think all of the names, Crash Get Out of the Way, The Girl Next Door, and then HerTape, are all just coming from a place of like they really just connect with me. It's me, like I said, me showcasing myself to me, validating myself with HerTape. The Girl Next Door is me feeling like, oh my gosh, like Miriam, when you step out of your comfort zone, like you feel it, and other people really feel it, and they embrace it. Embrace it a little bit more and see what happens. Won't you see that your mental state, your whole being is just going to be more validated. And this other one, Crash Get Out of the Way, was just me saying like, Miriam, you need to get out of your way because there's so many places that you're going or so many things that you're doing, and you're finding that like your natural inclination, your natural voice is trying to tell you something deeper, and you cannot not listen to it.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I like that.
Yeah. I wanted to say something else, but I can't remember right now.
Was it about the album or?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Or was it more like that natural voice, that conscious maybe, or?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Okay. The projects, they're just really just me speaking to myself, me learning to just tap into that like natural voice that I have, because a lot of us probably are, running away from what our subconscious is trying to tell us. Yeah. And, that shit haunts you. Yeah. That shit haunts me, at least.
Why do you think we like to run away or maybe not do what our, conscious tells us to do?
I guess because where our whole being is not, it doesn't seem like it's just one linear thing. There's, your body that's, can pull you in this way, that way. Then there's your mind that, can take its own, like, if you let it, it can take its own like course of action, course of thoughts, patterns, its whole own universe. And I feel like, we also have our spirit, and sometimes when that shit just is not aligned, and we also have all of these other outside factors, right? And it's just a whole bunch of like shit that's like convoluting, and when you feel that you're off and that you're off balance, you cannot lie to yourself. Yeah. And the more that you do try to lie to yourself, it just seems to try to pull you back. Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's tough sometimes. I don't know, sometimes we know what the right thing is to do for ourselves, but it's just that like thought of discomfort. It's just tough, but sometimes kind of like, I don't know, I guess the smallest thing would be like, oh man, I'm set at 5 a.m. I don't want to get up. And then you keep like delaying it, and then it kind of like haunts you in a sense because you'll be late to work or wherever you're going. Yeah. So I think if you start off just kind of doing it, stuff like that. I mean, that's a very, very simple example that I'll give. I mean, there's definitely a lot more deeper ones that you can use your own imagination for, but stuff like that, I guess. Yeah. So this comes out January 29th on Tuesday. January 29th. This will come out Wednesday. So okay. I'm prioritizing this one. That's fine. Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. Let's see. So you're pursuing music. I think maybe making music or being an artist back then, if you want to come up, is a lot different now. Do you have any advice for anyone who wants to pursue a career in music or something of that creative path? Yeah. The first thing that came to my mind was just go with your first mind. Whatever your first mind is, really let that be your foundation. Allow genuine help in, genuine people if you feel like they're sincere. Let them in. Sometimes you're going to get hurt. Don't let that stop you from your plan. Be confident, grow in confidence. Know that all of the hits and the blows and stuff that you take are not for no reason. Don't be afraid to heal from it, and put it into your art.
Right.
Whatever that is.
No, it makes sense. You know, being vulnerable, putting it out there, showing that you are human. You know, it's really easy just to make yourself like the coolest kid, coolest person on the music, but it's a lot harder to really express yourself and, you know, share some pain or just regret in music and all the dark stuff. It's interesting when you put that out. Oh wow, I can really resonate with that. You know. Also, too, I just want to add with that, maybe like, you know, being consistent. You've been rapping since 2011. It's patience. It's time. You know, so I think now it seems like it's more instantaneous with social media and going viral. Which there's a lane for that, I guess. But you know, I think what stands the test of time is maybe your consistency and your
the consistency is big.
You know, maybe you don't have the best hit. Maybe you're not going viral, but if you have quality work consistently and dedication, I think that's a way to measure your success.
Build genuine build genuine, I won't even say fans, but build genuine support from people, because you guys know, like, we rapped in the same circles and stuff like that. Like, the project that I put out in HerTape was put out in 2016, and since then I've done some features. I've done features here and there, but and I performed a lot back in those years, and so for the past couple years, like, consistency hasn't been shown in the forefront, at least for me. You know, people were like, "Where's the music? What are you doing? Where's the performance?" and stuff like that. But you know, in the comfort of my own home or just in my circles, like, I've been riding my ass off. And that's a factor of like consistency. But you know, build the genuine support too, because people who fuck with you, you know, I know there's a window of time, a window of opportunity, but the people who fuck with you, if you come back out and you give in that raw, good ass shit, you know, you're gonna have your support system behind you.
Yeah, and also I want to add too that, you know, like, we all have like regular jobs and stuff. I mean, people get the misconception that like, oh, you're a rapper, you must like make money from music, all of it. It's like, no, not necessarily. So there's definitely that too. We gotta factor that in, that, you know, you have jobs and stuff, and you know, like, maybe in college you had more time to perform before it's like worry about like life. Now it's, you know, bills and, you know, jobs. So that's fine. However you can fit it, that's consistency.
Hey, I love that message.
Yeah. Because there's that false sense of like, oh, you must be a rapper, you must make all your money from music. But then there's that, like, you know, most of our favorite rappers, 90% of them probably have day jobs or night jobs, like shifts or like graveyard shifts or whatever. But for some reason, they're able to just make it all happen. So that's another thing too. Where can we find you on social media?
You guys can find me on social media at Hersoul Music, or excuse me, Hersoul_music on Twitter. On IG, Hersoul Shines Through. That's HersoulShinesThru. Right now I have a single out called Glue, and it's on all platforms: Tidal, iTunes, Spotify.
Nice.
And tomorrow we're going to be dropping The Girl Next Door, and it's going to be everywhere. Just look up Hersoul, HerSoul.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Hey,
Voncast
appreciate
show.
it.
Check that out.
Voncast. Check him out.